Let's ride.
Well, it is Friday morning, and I am on my way to an undisclosed funeral home location. Our message this weekend is on Luke 7. It's a story where Jesus interrupts a funeral procession, and I thought, hey, what better place to kind of get the feel for that than a real-life funeral home. So scouring the papers this morning, came across a wake viewing for Mr. Harry Dunn. So we're going to visit with Harry today. He was 82 years old, lived a good, long life, and we're going to see if he can't help us with our message. Could be his very last good deed. All right, nobody is expecting us here today, so we need to just be as discreet as possible. And let's make sure that we're extra quiet, and we'll stay in the back so as not to disturb the morning process. First thing we notice about this scene is the weight of emotion. I mean, you can imagine this 2,000 years ago in our story from Luke 7, only difference being that it was a young man that had passed, the only son of an aging widow. The Bible tells us that a group of mourners were around the widow supporting her, not too unlike what we're seeing here. No doubt one of these ladies is the Mrs. Harry Dunn, mourning the loss of her husband, and what you see are friends and family supporting her. And that's what you had going on in Luke 7. You had friends and family around this lady. But the reality is, nothing can replace the loss of an only son, especially for a woman who had already lost her husband. And no doubt questions were swirling around in her head. How would I survive? How was I going to get by after this moment? I mean, everything in her life that she was depending on was gone now. This son was dead. But then Jesus steps onto the scene, and looks like everybody's stepping out for a minute. This may be our window of opportunity. Let's see if we can get a closer look at the casket. As I was saying in Luke 7, Jesus stumbles upon this sad, sad scene. And when he does, the Bible says he had compassion on the widow. And he said two words to her. He said, "Don't cry." At that point, he walked up to the casket, as I am now, and he laid his hand on the casket. Now, when he did this, he looked at the young man and he said, "Young man, get up." And he did. I'm sure there were some skeptics in the moments between Jesus saying the words and the young man coming out of the casket, but they were all silenced in that moment. When a dead person physically was resurrected, can you imagine being there in that moment? Can you imagine seeing that scene played out? Perhaps a more relevant question for us today is, does Jesus still raise the dead to life? That's the question we're going to be looking at today and for the rest of this series.